All right, ladies and gentlemen. So welcome to today's class. Yes, Henry, I agree. Welcome to today's class. So we are still looking at real estate finance. When we talk of real estate finance, we are looking at properties. We are looking at what we call land and permanent buildings. So then how do you get to finance them? I told you the very easiest way of knowing how to finance these real estate properties. Always think about what your debt and what your equity. You can put in your own money, build this house, or you get, in this case, your debt, etc. Or you can do like what our government is doing today, and we shall be looking at this concept here called securitization. Yeah, securitization. Securitization, where basically you look at future cash inflows, yeah, and then you charge them. Yeah, you convince, in this case here, lenders to give you money on the basis of future, that this property of mine will be giving us like 10 million Kenya shillings. So this 10 million is what you build some kind of collateral. Yeah, and then you build some bonds out of them. So you're able to do what you have to sell, like now what we are doing with our oil. Yeah. So this, like now the price that the other day went up a little bit, 9 shillings, like that. So you saw some members who know what is happening is that they have already gotten a lender who is willing to take this increase in price as security to give Kenya more money. It's called securitization. So you look at what will I be getting in the future, right? Can I convince somebody, in this case here, to give me money on the basis of this future? So you end up, in this case here, mortgaging your future, and of course your children's what year future. And that is what exactly has happened in Kenya. And it has been happening for the last, like, say 20 years. We have taken loans, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm 100% sure that they will be paid maybe by our grandchildren, right? So it's called the concept of securitization. You charge, in this case here, you give away your future. So you say that future income, which will be coming, it should come to me, it should go to the lenders. It should go to the lenders. It's a new colonization concept. All right. So then we continue, ladies and gentlemen, from where we stopped. So we are looking at great things, great stuff. All right. So if I remember very well, we have done quite a lot here: real valuation stages, real estate valuation methods. So you come here. This is where we stopped title, because we looked at the lien. If you remember lien, we said lien basically is where somebody is putting a legal claim on your property. But the property in this case here belongs to, belongs to Anne. Yeah, she has very, very good property around where Kamaki's area. But there is somebody who is putting a legal claim on that property. The person in most cases putting this legal claim on the property will be the lenders. The lenders. So at the back of the title deed, you'll get what we call encumbrances, where somebody is saying that this title has been charged to Equity Bank. So Equity Bank has a legal claim. If, for example, you don't honor your obligation, and then, of course, in this case here, your lender comes in, they have a right to sell it. So a lien is a legal claim, or right against a property for the satisfaction of a debt or obligation. It gives the lien holder the right to seize and sell the property if the debt is not paid. A mortgage is a specific type of what here, lien, and there are various types of liens. We have, for example, the voluntary liens created by choice, like a mortgage. You voluntarily took this mortgage and your property was charged. All right. And then we have involuntary. Involuntary lien is well, ladies and gentlemen, in this, sorry, let me just look at the charts. Always good to look at the charts. Very good to look at the charts. Very good to look at the charts. Oh, sorry. Yeah. We are doing what we call real estate. It's good that these ninjas have already answered you. Remember, we started doing this last, was it on Friday? Yeah. share the handout. Let me just share this handout quite fast here. Or is there somebody who can be doing that on my behalf? It would be very good for somebody to do this on my behalf. You simply save it in your machine, and then you keep on sharing. I wish I had a very nice lady, but nowadays, guys, a lady or a gentleman, guys have, yeah, there is already somebody who has done that. Yeah. So please ensure that you keep on helping me. Whenever you see student asking for these notes, please, I've seen Rachel here. Great. Yeah, please, Rachel, I've now given you an assignment. The only thing is that, anyway, I should pay you something small, right? If you do it very well. Thank you so much. So we have in this case involuntary lien. Involuntary now is where you forced. The right to claim your property is now put on either by the law, by KRA, like now tax lien, for unpaid property taxes, your property will go. Mechanics lien for unpaid work or materials provided for property improvements. So the contractor has done the job, and you deposited in this case here, title with them. They were able to kind of charge it. So then they have a legal claim on that if you don't pay them. So we have judgment lien resulting from a court judgment. You must have had the situations where people deposit their title deeds with courts. That's a judgment lien. So then we have title. A title refers to the legal ownership of real property. Yeah, if you own a property, then you must have a title deed. It represents the right to own, possess, use, and dispose of the property. A clear title means that there are no outstanding liens or claims against the property. Yeah, title search, of course, ladies and gentlemen, whenever you're buying land, it will be very, very important for you to do a title search. Nowadays, these title searches, we do them on the online platform called 𝐷𝐶𝐴. There are some counties like Nairobi County has already had all the pieces of land that are owned in Nairobi already onboarded onto 𝐷𝐶𝐴. So the process of examining public records to determine and confirm a property's legal ownership and to discover any liens or encumbrances. So title search, very, very important that you do this. All right, in the chat here. It was recorded. I'm surprised it was not uploaded. I will be able to check that later. All right. Then, of course, ladies and gentlemen, whenever you go to the bank, for example, some of us, we have borrowed heavily, like myself, thanks to Equity Bank. Equity Bank has really been of great help to us. Yeah, most of these banks, in this case, you take an idea to them, they don't. Equity Bank has been a listening partner. All right. So what they will do, of course, even them, they know that there is a risk, that even after doing the search, there is a risk that some of these titles could be there for formality. That particular title may not be genuine. So then what they'll do, if you look at the insurance you pay, they normally have what we call a title insurance. So you have a property insurance and a title insurance. So it protects the lenders or property owners against losses arising from defects in title, e.g. unpaid liens, forged documents that were not discovered during the title search. Not discovered during the title search. All right, maybe you could post, you can post the link here. Thank you so much. If you can just help us. So mortgage requirements, like now they brought this question, I'll be able to show you these questions where they're coming from the past papers. They're very, very common. They'll save you. Like, what do you require for you to be able to get a mortgage from a bank? For you to get a mortgage from a bank, you must have a high credit score. This thing of CRB, it should be more than 700 points. A numerical representation of a borrower's credit worthiness. Higher scores indicate lower risk. You must have a high score. Yeah, some banks have started the flexing that you can still have like 200 points and you still get, in this case here, this loan like ABSA, but now they don't give you the loan at a lower interest rate. You'll get people telling you that your CRB is really, really low. So instead of giving you this loan at 18%, we shall give it to you at 23%. My students, I'm so sure some of you are very, very young. Please start from today protecting your credit score. Never allow yourself to be taken to any CRB. When you're taken to CRB just once like this, your score goes down by about 500. Yeah, I get people come to my office, in this case, you're wanting serious properties. When you look at their credit scores, you wonder, I mean, what type of a person is this? And what are they defaulting in? Very useless little loans, all right? And most of the time, it's not about inability, it's just about discipline. Yeah, discipline. So please protect your credit score, because we are moving in the near future, this credit score will be like what it is in America. In America, when your credit score goes below like 500, I mean, you can even go to a supermarket and people can't sell to you. So please safeguard. Walk around with this thing. I would want to see my students having their scores over 700, all of them over 700. Debt to equity ratio. So this person would want to know what, not equity, but income. What debts do you have today? I have debts in this case, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm servicing on a monthly basis, maybe 30,000. How much is your salary? Maybe 100,000. So they'll be able to calculate this and get like 30%. Yeah. When you have a high debt to income ratio, it means that you will reach a point where you will not be able to service your debt. So this is also another very, very important ratio, debt to income ratio. In Kenya, there is a law that this debt to income ratio must always be a third, around there, a third. Yeah, when they're giving you debt, they can't give you debt that will take like the whole of your income. That will take like, say, 50% of your income. No, it has to be below about 30%, at 3-point-something%. So the percentage of the borrower's gross monthly income that goes towards paying debts, lenders often have limits. You'll get somebody saying the debt to income ratio not more than 43%. Then, of course, for you to get a mortgage, ladies and gentlemen, you need a down payment. Somebody who has ever taken a mortgage here, what was your down payment? What was your down payment? What was the down payment that was asked by the bank? Somebody talk to me. Talk to me, somebody. What was the down payment asked by the bank? Because I'm so sure there must be somebody who has ever taken a mortgage. You can't just walk to, ladies and gentlemen, a bank and tell a bank that now I want to buy this house, 10 million, give me the entire 10 million. No. Normally, banks operate on debt and equity. So most of the times, ladies and gentlemen, they will tell you, if it's 10 million, put in your 3 million, and then we give you 7 million. Because, ladies and gentlemen, what will happen outside here, if the bank was to give you, finance you 100%, you see, your heart will always be where your money is. So in this venture, you have not put any money. That's what somebody told me some time back when I wanted them to finance 100% of some project I had. They told me, no. If we finance, for example, if it's a school, if we finance 100%, you can't take very good care of the school. Yeah, 20%. Thank you very much, Wairimu and Penina. Yeah, you need a down payment. Yeah, you need a down payment. Because if you put in 100% to this house, you'll just go there, stay, you do jokes here a little bit here and there, and then you run away. And you see the bank is not in the business of selling houses. They try to sell houses nowadays, they're not able to sell. So they would want, in this case here, to give somebody who is creditworthy money. You must be having, you want a house of 10 million, then what these two ladies have told us, so give us 2 million. If you don't have 2 million, 𝐷𝐞𝐸𝐤. That's a Germany statement. Great. So down payment. Then we have the concept of what here? Income stability and employment history. So they'll be able to look at your employment history. Are you that type of a person who keeps on changing jobs? Yeah, 3 months you are here, another 4 months you are here. Yeah. So do you have a stable income? Lenders want to see a consistent income and a stable job history to ensure repayment ability. Yeah, that is why even when, for example, you have KRA signing a contract with, let's call it Equity Bank, they will always have like a policy for mortgages. You must have stayed with KRA for at least 2 years. You can't come to KRA today and you want, in this case here, this mortgage to be given to you today. It's not possible. They'd want that job stability. Then we have assets, and this is what mortgages in this case here really nowadays are. They are very keen on this. They'll ask you, fine, you want us to give you 10 million, and this 10 million will be really covered by this asset you're taking. But we want to see, are you a person who is really involved in accumulating assets? Do you have other assets? Then you tell them, yes, I have this home, bring it here. Even if it's not for purpose of charging, they're normally interested in these assets and the other savings. Yeah, assets, stroke reserves, savings, or other assets that can be used to cover mortgage payments in case of unexpected financial hardship. So they'll tell you to sign everything, including the joint ownership transfer forms. Yeah, they may not even charge, but they'll just wait until when they see there is some financial hardship, then they jump in. They jump in. All right, I can see their charts here. Thank you so much. All right. So you can pick those particular links there. They could be of great help, but we shall ensure that we put it on the LMS. I know students don't like watching these videos on YouTube because of what here? Because of advertisements, because of those advertisements. And these ninjas are very, very bad. When they see an advertisement on my video, they don't even watch even halfway. They simply keep on saying, skip, skip, so I don't get enough income. We shall overcome. So we have here property appraisal. Of course, these people must come and evaluate the property. The property itself must be evaluated to ensure its value supports the loan amount. Yeah, to get the loan amount. I think that is good enough. Is there any other thing that you think in this case is very, very important? For example, these guys, yes, would want your pay slips. Yeah, in Kenya, they would want your pay slips. They may want your bank statement for the last, 6 months? 6 months. Yeah, all those are requirements that you can quote and get marks. So, ladies and gentlemen, up to here, are we really communicating? Are we together? Ninjas, up to here, are we together? Thank you so much. So we go to mortgage clauses, and these mortgage clauses, I would want you to be reading them severally. Whenever you go to take a mortgage, normally the bank at the very back, they will have their conditions, and those conditions are normally written in very, very tiny writings. I normally go to my bank, I tell my bank I can't read these things. Increase the font size and print for me, even if it's at a cost to me. Yeah, very, very tiny. So it's important that you get to know the mortgage clauses, even for your personal, development when you'll be taking your own mortgages, or for your exams. These are very, very common. You'll be able to see in the past papers. So mortgage clauses, these are specific provisions or stipulations within a mortgage agreement that define the rights and obligations of both the mortgagor and the mortgagee. Like we have the acceleration clause. These has killed so many people. This acceleration clause, ladies and gentlemen, if, for example, you default, like Equity Bank, it is 3 months, you default on your mortgage thrice, then they will call upon their loan to be paid in full. So now they accelerate. They tell you, pay this either in 5 months or pay this all at once. And then they are sending you, in this case here, those, they call them friendly reminders. They tell you, if you don't pay by this, within a month, 14 days or thereabout, you will get auctioneer's letter. And once the auctioneer's letter has reached, I don't know whether, this auctioneers is like they have a bad luck. If you have ever experienced this, ladies and gentlemen, once you've gotten an auctioneer's letter, trust you me, for you to entangle, get yourself out of it, it's really, really hard, because there are other costs that come on board. Also, you'll be under a lot of pressure. Your appetite even for work disappears. So acceleration clause allows the lender to demand immediate repayment of the entire outstanding loan balance if the borrower defaults on a single payment or violates another term of what year? The mortgage. So always read this very well and discuss it with your bank. Tell your bank, please, I can't just default just one installment and then you come for me with a sledgehammer. No, let's make this like thrice or even 5 times. I'm not, of course, intending to default, but I'm trying in this case here to negotiate things to favor me. And the banks, of course, when they realize you're a good man, then they will be able to do what here to vary this. They're standard, but they always, like myself, I always push them. Yeah, because you must prepare for any eventualities. Example, If you miss 3 months payments, the bank can invoke the acceleration clause and demand you pay back the entire remaining loan amount immediately rather than just the overdue payments. You know, I normally see people saying that I defaulted, the overdue payment was $1 million. Yeah, I defaulted like 3 times because I was paying 300 and something thousand. So the overdue, the amount that, I should have paid is what I've defaulted. No, when the acceleration clause is invoked, you'll be told to pay the entire 10 million. It's called accelerate. So the gear has gone up. The gear has gone up, and then you will die of blood pressure. Then we have due on sale clause. This normally happens. You know, you may get a mortgage of 10 million, right? So when you get this mortgage of 10 million, and then you walk outside there like myself, I don't buy property for the sake of it. I buy property as a business venture. If I get a better deal, I always sell. Yeah. So I've bought a property at a very good place, 10 million, an apartment, and then you get somebody in this case here wanting to buy this property from you at 15 million. So before, in this case here, you go asking the bank for any transfer, there is what we call the due on sale. The due on sale. The bank may tell you, first of all, look at this clause here. Pay, first of all, give us like 3 million. All right? Because you see, there is quite a lot. When you are going to transfer this asset to somebody else, and perhaps they would also want to continue paying that mortgage, there is appraising that person, so many things. There are so many costs involved. So then we have what we call due on sale clause. So it requires the borrower to pay the entire outstanding loan balance upon the sale or transfer of the property. This prevents the new buyer from assuming the existing mortgage without the lender's approval here. So the amount outstanding is due on sale. So example here, you'll sell your house with an existing mortgage. The due on sale clause means that you pay off your mortgage with the proceeds from the sale. The buyer cannot simply take over your current loan because there are so many things that happens at the back end to be able to appraise this person. So this amount is due on sale. If you're going to sell, ensure that you pay us back our money. Yeah. Because they know if, for example, you sell and then you start telling them, let that other guy, in this case here, inherit my loan, things will happen in between. Things will happen in between. Maybe this new buyer does not have a history with this bank. All right. So due on sale clause, I can see there is a comment here, 4 of them. All right. Zelma is asking a very good question, where the bank will return the amount already done what year paid. Good question, really. Trust you me. I've been in this business of mortgages for so long. You know, when a bank, in this case, repossesses your asset, the law requires them, first of all, to value the asset. Assuming in this case here, the house in this case is worth, say, 12 million. And they're lucky enough they get a buyer paying them 12 million. They're supposed, in this case here, to ensure that they don't make a profit out of this transaction. All right? So in this case here, there must be some funds being refunded back to you. Yeah. If they make a profit, again, what do? You get, because they are not, if this asset was worth 10 million, the mortgage was worth 10 million. If, for example, these people sell this thing at 12 million and they had made some payments, there is a way they should be able to compensate you. But what I know, ladies and gentlemen, with these mortgages, the moment your property has gone, you will never get anything from that transaction. Actually, in most cases, what I've seen, like I have a friend of mine in this new Muthaiga area who lost his property because of defaults in mortgages. At the end of the day, he got even a further bill that the house sold, the amount that was that it fetched was not able to cover the entire expenses and the loan of the bank. Because you see, they'll try to sell this house, first of all, at a throwaway price. They're selling these houses yet to their own friends. All right? All right? So at the end of the day, if you don't have that mental toughness and lots of discipline like myself, I'm really disciplined, right? Then ensure, ladies and gentlemen, that you don't go for a mortgage. Because mortgages, as I told you, they can be killers. You must really be disciplined. You must love your work a lot. Yeah, and I'm going to demonstrate to you that it is really expensive. Mortgages are expensive, but they help people. They help disciplined people. All right. Yeah, like this is a clause that all of us should be, ladies and gentlemen, looking for, this prepayment penalty clause. Yeah, that if, for example, you have asked for a 10 million loan and you're supposed to be paying like, say, 100,000 every month. What if in a particular month I get 200 and I pay in advance for the next month? They should not penalize me. Most banks will want to penalize you because most banks would want you to take 30 years to pay their mortgages. All right. So you should be able to identify this clause and tell these people I don't want this clause because I would want a situation when I go to my SACCO and I get some lump sum amount, I would want to come and pay you and then you discharge my property. You discharge my property. You discharge my property. All right. Great. Shortfall, yes. I see you guys here. A forced sale value is normally the reserve price of selling any property being disposed. Is prepayment still allowed by CBK? I don't know. Maybe you need to find out, but I've always prepaid. I've always prepaid. Yeah, because I ensure that maybe they must have allowed it. So prepayment charges a fee to the borrower if they pay off the mortgage loan early before its scheduled maturity. Less common in residential mortgages today, especially for conventional loans. Yeah, so today, in this case, things are changing. So your mortgage states that if you pay off the loan within the first 5 years, you'll incur a penalty equal to 2% of the outstanding balance. See this. Deficiency clause from the word defeat, states that the lender's interest in the property is defeated, removed, once the borrower has paid off the entire mortgage loan. Yeah, so in this case here, you have paid the entire mortgage loan. What is supposed to be done? This lender does not have a claim on your property. They should be able to allow you to discharge your property. They should be able to allow you to discharge your property. It's called deficiency clause. Defeating. So it's defeated. It's defeated. So still the lender's interest in the property is defeated, removed, once the borrower has paid off the entire loan. So in this case, you are allowed to go and discharge. What I normally tell my people that I normally guide on these financial matters, you should never discharge properties. Once you have paid a loan, or to avoid money laundering. Wow, great, great. Once you have charged a property, charging a property is very, very costly. Stamp duties, etc. Charging a property is very, very costly. What we do ourselves, we don't discharge property. No discharge of property. Don't discharge a property. Once property, umaliza loan, we end up finding top-ups, isn't it? Yeah, fanya top-ups because according to Modigliani and Miller, the more the debts you have, the more valuable you are. The more valuable you are, the more value you have. Yeah, especially if you are running a business. I mean, you are thinking of so many things. So long as you don't do really so much, but don't discharge your property, because if you are in business, ladies and gentlemen, whether you like it or not, at one point or another like that, you'll need more finances. So you'd rather have all those assets, in this case here, remaining with the bank by you taking just small amounts here and there, top-ups here and there, and then you wait for that opportunity to charge them properly. Charge them properly. Mwalimu, what are you telling us? Mwalimu, do you want us to become bankrupt? Do you want us to become bankrupt? Now, if you go to your local home, very local home, ladies and gentlemen, among us, those guys who are there, who are doing very, very, very well, are primary school teachers. Yeah, if you see the very best cow in the village, most likely it will belong to a primary school teacher. Even houses, yeah, primary. How much is their salary? Too tiny, too small for us as accountants. Yeah, 60. Yeah. Yeah, 60, maybe 40, something like that. Then now, ladies and gentlemen, what will happen is that those guys are growing simply because of what here? Simply 27 grows here. Simply because of what here? Simply because of loans. Loans. So loans are not bad. The only bad thing, ladies and gentlemen, with loans is if you are not disciplined. If you are getting money and then you start attracting so many friends around, you're eating that money. But if you're taking this money, ladies and gentlemen, at say 15% a whole year, and then you have got great business ventures, especially during your active years. During your active years, you should have a lot of loans. Ukianza kufika saa 50, 55, then now you start slowing down. Now you start, in this case, now investing where you get passive incomes. But during your youthful age, Gen Z age, you need serious loans. Yuko mwanafunzi hapa akona kazi na hana loan. Yuko mwanafunzi akona kazi hapa na hana loan. Una qualify uko na kazi na hauna loan. If you're a Muslim, I will accept. If you're a Muslim, I will want to, because I know why. But Christians, I want you guys to take these loans. They are very, very good. They're very, very good. They make you to be disciplined. They make you to be disciplined. Yeah, like SACCO loans are very good. SACCO loans are very good. Me niko now mob, great. Yeah, great. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, even myself, and I'm so sure I'll be able to shine in the near future. I'm yet to shine. I'll be shining in the near future. It is because of loans. If it were not for loans, I'm 100% sure that I would not be teaching this class today at 7 a.m. The colleagues of mine, the guys who are getting good monies with, I mean, those old days, right now, because they slept, almost slept in a club up to 1 a.m., they're sleeping now. All right? Because most of them, in this case, they don't have their money tied up. We shall overcome. It's debatable, but this is good. Yeah, SACCO is very good. Hata kali pesa yako wewe. Nitaongea kuhusu baadaye, wacha nimalize class kwanza, ndio kuhusu hiyo baadaye. Sasa, ladies and gentlemen, tuende kwa escalation. To escalate is to increase. Of course, you know that whenever CBK increases their base lending rates, banks will always transfer that increase to you. Escalation clause allows the lender to increase the interest rate on the loan. It allows the lender to increase the interest rate on the loan under certain conditions, more common in commercial or adjustable rate mortgages. Then we have what we call subordination clause. Like Equity Bank is very, very big with this. They'll tell you that we have a primary charge. You know, if, for example, they have given you a loan of 10 million, and you have paid, for example, this loan, maybe 6 million, now you're left with 4 million. You know, when you want a top-up, you don't have to do this top-up with them. Yeah, you can easily go and tell them that for this remaining amount, I would want, in this case here, for example, to have this charged with a different bank. Yeah, so then what they'll tell you, in case, for example, you don't pay the other lender, or in case you get into a financial problem, when it comes to selling, in this case here, this property, our interest is on top. We can't be insubordinated. Ourselves, in this case here, we come up there. We are primary. So under subordination clause, allows a mortgage to take a lower priority than another lien, e.g. a junior mortgage being subordinated to a new first mortgage. So the junior mortgage coming under. So that when we sell this property, for example, you have sold this property, say at 8 million. The guy who gave us the loan at first, we have serviced his loan maybe to 5 million. So when we sell this particular property, if there will be any shortfall, the shortfall will be taken by this subordinate. The original giver will not be affected as such. So under subordination clause, it allows a mortgage, a new mortgage, or this other mortgage coming up, to take a lower priority than another, e.g. a junior mortgage being subordinated to a new first mortgage. Then we have mechanics of real estate mortgage. I can see comments here, chats here. Great. Yeah, you can develop a lot with loans, yes. Good debt, I love this. Good debt accelerates wealth creation. Of course, in this case, it's a new contract, but because they have charged, you see, they have that title, which is joint title, written Joshua Aura and Equity Bank. So in this case here, you'll save a lot. You'll save a lot. The only, like the legal fees for charging will save a lot. So in this case here, they will not like, you know, when you discharge, you are removing the name Equity Bank. It goes through lands. There is some fees you'll pay there, all right? Because like you're getting a new title, right? And then you go back charging. Most of my friends, they discharge, they tell me I would want to see my title. Let me get it out of the bank. They get it out of the bank, and then after 2 years, they're taking, also I laugh at them. You have incurred 200, 300,000 to charge this property again, all right? Yeah, if you're taking a further charge, yeah, a lot of money, of course, in this case, if they even ask for new collateral like that, great. I can see 𝐁𝐥𝐤𝐤 must be working for a SACCO or a bank. Or open charge, great. You guys are even more experienced than Mwalimu here now. Great, great. So mechanics of real estate mortgage, we have what we call mortgage payments. This is not very, very necessary for you, but under these mortgage payments, you know, these are the monthly payments you're making, right? Yeah, monthly payments made by the borrower to the lender, consisting of principal and interest. Often payments also include escrow amounts for property taxes and home owners insurance. That is why when you do a mortgage, these people like kind of open a new bank account for you. When you send that money there, this escrow account will be able to say this is for insurance, it goes to a different area. And then the bank gets their cash like that. So under the mortgage, the key thing here is that whatever you are paying every month shall be able to cover the principal and interest and any other incidental costs as per the agreements, like the property taxes, etc. Yeah. Then we have what we call mortgage constant. So mortgage constant is a factor. It's normally a percentage used to determine the annual debt service. Total annual loan payments required for a loan based on its original amount. The formula, mortgage constant, its annual debt service over original loan amount. So you take the annual debt service over the original loan amount. So for example here, you can see the original loan amount was 1 million. And then the annual debt service is 70,000. If you take this annual debt service of 70,000, you divide by 1 million, you'll be able to get this mortgage constant. Yeah, which in this case is 7%. 7%. Mortgage constant. So this mortgage constant, of course, ladies and gentlemen, helps companies to know their levels of indebtedness. It is like this interest payment ratio, all right? So in this case, I'm charging this. I'm being charged this, and I had borrowed initially this amount. Where am I? So we come to this, number 3, amortization schedules. This one I have to do it on the board. Loan amortization schedule, very, very important for your exam. I'm so sure you must have done this in financial reporting. You must be very good at the amortization schedules. You must be very good at this. You must be very good at this. Loan amortization schedules. You must be good at this. So this loan amortization schedule, let's assume in this case here we have David. David takes a loan of how much? Let's work with a 10,000. Of course, I'm not saying that you will be able to take a very, very small amount. I'm just looking at the figures. You know, if you put like 10 million, it really disturb us. So then we have a number of years. Noe is number of years. How many years? 5. Noe, please, you're writing this example under loan amortization. Now we are writing loan amortization schedule. So the loan is 10,000, number of years, 5 years. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we happen to be having interest rate. Interest rate per annum. Interest rate per annum. In this case here, we have 10%. 10%. So we want to assume that David, or it was David, will pay these amounts at the end of each year. The installments are yearly installments. So we are talking of yearly installments. Yearly installments. Yearly installments like that, yearly installments. Yes. So we are required here to do a loan amortization schedule. A loan amortization schedule. Let me know once you're able to write this illustration down. Let me know once you're able to write this, once you finish writing this illustration. So the loan is 10,000. Number of years are 5. Interest rate per annum is 10%. Yeah, they are yearly installments. Then they want you to do a loan amortization schedule. People from UK, they call it schedule. Schedule is better. Yeah, they are finished. So then the very first thing you will do, ladies and gentlemen, is to give us a solution. Go ahead and give us PV-FA. Go ahead and give us PV-FA. That is the first thing you do. So PV-FA, 10%, 5 years. Please read this from your table. Read this from your table. PV-FA, 10%, 5 years. Or you do it this way. We say 1 minus 1 plus R raised to negative n, everything divided by R. So it will be 1 minus 1 plus 0.1 raised to minus 5, everything divided by 0.1. Everything divided by 0.1. So you move slowly. I can see comments here. Oh, to recharge the property, I need to find out that. So 3.7908. So this is 3.7908. So all of us, are we able to get this number? All of us, are we able to get this number? All of us. If you're not able to get this number, I'm here to help you. Yes, thank you so much. So you remember in your calculator, you say 1 minus 1.1, and then you raise to negative 5. You say equals first. You say equals first, and then whatever you get, you divide by 0.1, you'll be able to get this. Then now you come and give us the installment. Come and give us the installment per annum. Give us the installment per annum. How do we get this installment per annum? Oh yeah, you take the loan. You divide by PV-FA. You take the loan, you divide by PV-FA. The loan borrowed by David is 10,000. You divide this by PV-FA of 3.7908, an ugly figure, very ugly figure. And unfortunately, you must write it the way it is. Very ugly figure, 10,000 divided by 3.7908. Inakuja pesa ngapi? 10,000. So this gives us 2637. 2637. You must write it like with 2 or 3 decimal places. Otherwise, Joe, if you write it a whole number, then it will not amortize to 0. 2637.97. 2637.97, like that. 2637.97. 2637.97. Now, once we do that, then we do a loan amortization schedule. So we are doing a loan amortization schedule. Remember, it is the concept of OIC. OIC, like that, OIC. So we have here, year. So years 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so there we are. And then we come, ladies and gentlemen, we have opening balance. Opening balance. We have in this case here interest. Interest. The other I is installment. Installment. And then we have closing. Closing balance. OIC. 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 Like that. OIC. Double I in between. Yeah, loan amortization schedule. Yeah, once you guys are able to put down this structure, please say Y for yes. Say Y for yes. Y for yes. Say Y for yes. Y for yes. Thank you so much. So then we start with opening balance. We know how much David borrowed. David borrowed 10,000. This is what we begin with. That's our opening balance. Remember the interest, which is 10%. 10% will always be based on the opening balance. To get interest, to get my interest amount, I will take 10% of the opening balance. Opening balance. So 10% of this 10,000, this gives me 1,000. This gives me 1,000. So remember, interest increases. So this amount, so this has to be positive. Then we have our installment. Installment, we pay 2637.97. So this should be deducted because I'm paying. So from there, give me the closing. How do I get closing? To get closing, you take opening plus interest minus installment. You give me closing. So to get closing, you take opening plus the interest minus the installment. You give us closing. How much do we have, ladies and gentlemen, from Mercy Korir? 8367. 8367.03. Great. That is year number 1. So we go to, remember, installment is ever constant. Installment never changes. Can I even write like that? Installment never changes. Installment, what I'm paying every month, this never changes. This never changes. This never changes. 2637.97, 2637.97, like that. 2637.97, like that. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think will be the opening balance of year 2? What do you think will be the opening balance of year 2? It is closing, it is 8362, 8362.03 now. Yeah, 8362 points. Thank you so much. So this is what I ran away with to this. 8362.03. So please give me the interest here. So the interest here will be 10% of this amount, which will be 836.20 if we strictly work with 2 decimal places. Thank you so much, because 10% of this will be 836.20. So you come here and give me the closing. So closing, you say it is this plus the interest minus this. Give me an answer. Thank you, Davin. Okay, anauliza loan. Loan kumbuka interest always inapandisha nini? Inapandisha the loan. Yeah, the loan. In this installment, of course, we have interest and what here? Principal. And the principal. Reducing balance here, 6560.26. 6560.26, like that. 6560.26. So this is what you bring here. 6560.26. 6560.26. So please levy interest here. So if I levy 10%, if I knock this with 10%, I will end up getting 656.03. So we have this plus this minus this. So we have this plus this minus this. Which gives us 4578.32. 4578.32, like that. Then you come here and pick this 4578.32. So then this will give me 457.83. Yeah. So then you take this plus this minus this. You'll be able to give me the closing balance here before I answer your questions there. Before I answer your questions, please give me the closing here. So this one plus this one minus this one, give me an answer. 1986. There must be somebody in this class who was born on this year, 1986.1, 1986. Oh, wamekataa. Wanasema kwamba it is 2398. So this 2398.18 is what we work with here as our opening, 2398.18. So give me 10% of this. 10% of this will be 239.82. 239.82. So then this will be this plus the interest minus this. Yeah, minus this. You know, it's supposed to amortize to 0 exactly, but at times you may get a figure like 10. Like, for example, 20. Yeah, like, for example, 0 point something, isn't it? But you don't write that figure here because by the end of the 5th year, you are supposed to have your loan, in this case here, amortized. You're supposed to have your loan amortized. You're supposed to have your loan amortizing to 0, like that. So I know the method that you guys are using, perhaps if you have ever done this, you know, this is called 𝐁𝐥𝐸 model. It's much easier. You could also decide in this case here, instead of having installment here, then you start breaking this installment, you give me the principal. So you can come and create another column here for principal. So then how do you get principal? So you'll take this minus this 1,000. So then you'll be getting your closing, the thing is, you know that this installment has got interest and the principal within here. Let me show you some simple mathematics, you great people. So you see, this is opening balance. So you have here opening plus this interest. And then we have in this case here minus the installment. The installment has interest plus principal, right? To be able to get our closing. Great. So then mathematics, so we have opening plus interest minus principal equals what here? Equals closing. Are you seeing this interest and the interest in this case here will cancel? Interest and interest will be canceling at the end of the day. Yeah. So then we'll be able to get in this case here that opening minus principal. All right. So now it's upon you to make a decision in this case here, like, how would you want this to be? Which method would you want to use? All right. Because this other method, for example, will be forced here to come up with a column of principal here. A column of principal here. So you can come and have a column of principal here. Yeah. So like now this principal, we say installment. Yeah. You take away what here? This 1,000. So the principal then will be 1637.97. And then I will be able to come and give us the closing. So can somebody in this case here take in this case here this 10,000 opening minus now the principal. So 10,000 minus the principal. What is the closing value there? What is the closing value there? Yeah, 8362.04, isn't it? 8362.04, like that, which is the same figure that we got using this other method. So now it's upon you to make use of the better method that you think. Yeah. Fortunately, using now this, you've been even able to understand some dynamics much better. All right. So that's what we call a loan amortization schedule. So I would want to give you another example. Is that okay? Is that okay? So another example. Oh, it's exactly 8, but if you give me 10 minutes, I finish this area. Before we look at also, just 1 minute. we are overcoming. For the last sitting question, okay? Great. Great. So 10 minutes, I'm finishing. All along I've been on mute. Oh, so do I start again? Do I start again? I'm really sorry. Do I start again? I never knew I was on mute. Sorry for that. So then remember, what have we done, ladies and gentlemen? What have we done, ladies and gentlemen? We haven't gone far away. Let me just escape this. You, Lena, what are you doing, Lena, now? This Lena lady, what are you doing? Well, you're trying to get my attention to this. All right. Great. So now we continue, ladies and gentlemen. Now, please listen. The loan amount borrowed here is 10 million. Number of years, these are 30 years. Oh, just a minute. I come here. Disable annotation. Disable annotation. Now the lady cannot write. Yeah. So this person has borrowed 10 million. Number of years, they are 30. Interest per annum is 10%. But now this person is making monthly repayments. So number of months, they will be 360. How have I gotten this number of months, my good students? I've taken here equals. I know this person has gotten a 30-year loan times, in this case here, 12 months. How about interest per month? Interest per month, what I've done, I've said equals. I've picked the interest per year and then divided this by 12. Get this by 12. Not clear. Ladies and gentlemen, I think what we should do, we should be able to resume. Oh, I think what we should do, we should be able to resume this class, ladies and gentlemen. At what time? What time are we meeting again? What time are we meeting again? Oh, you want me to continue? I finish this. I just finished this illustration, right? I finished this illustration. Yeah, great. Thank you very much. Just this illustration alone. Just this illustration alone. Yeah. So in this case here then, we have interest per annum 10%. Number of months, what do I do to get number of months? Number of months, if I'm going to pay this over 30 years, so I'll take 30 years. I know that each year has 12 months. So I know the number of months will be 360 equals. How about interest per month? I will take the annual interest, which is 10%. I make this monthly divided by 12 like that. Then I come, ladies and gentlemen, here, Control Shift right down. I delete everything. Then I come and do my periods here. I will do my periods here. So period, I'm running from number 1 to 360. How do I do that? I don't have to do this the 𝐁𝐥𝐤𝐤 way. Like I write 1, 2, 3 up to 360. What if there were 1 million numbers? I need to come here and say equals. I pick sequence. So sequence, I write 360 like that. So once I write 360, it has already written for me. If I say control down arrow, be able to see 360. It has already done that for me like that. So from there, we have our opening balance. So opening, so we write here opening. Don't write, you're not writing anything, remember? We have here interest. Then we have installment. Then we have, in this case here, closing. I'm going to finish this in the next 2 minutes. Closing. So opening balance is the loan borrowed. So equals, ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking for my 10 million here. I pick it, I say tab. So the interest to be paid, it will be based on the 10 million. So 10 million times the rate of monthly interest, and this monthly interest is going to be constant. Yeah, in Excel, whenever you have things being constant, they must be dollarized. So dollarize this by pressing F4. You put dollars like that. I'll be able to teach you this later in financial modeling. I'll be the one taking you through financial modeling when you finish your CPA. So equals installment. I haven't even calculated. So installment, let me calculate installment first here. Let me calculate installment first. So installment, this is what I told you to use a PV file. This is what we call PMT in Excel. And the PMT, you simply say equals PMT, like this, live. So you pick the rate. We have the monthly rate. So the rate here, monthly rate is this. Number of periods, there are 360. You're picking number of periods here. Present value is this. And because it's a cash outflow, it's a loan, remember. Yeah, I'll take it as a negative. I close bracket. So then every month I'll be paying it 7,000. I'll be able to repeat this, don't worry. But again, this is just for your own practical use. It's not for CASNEB. So come here and give us this installment. So the installment is this amount, and I know that this installment will be constant throughout. Anything that is constant throughout in financial modeling shall always be dollarized. So F4. I'll teach you this later. Come and give me the closing. So how do I get closing? Take opening. You say plus interest minus this installment. Yeah. And then you say enter. So you come here. How do I get, in this case here, the opening balance for month 2? It will be the closing balance there, tab, equals interest. Interest will be based on this. You say times the rate of interest is this, which will be constant throughout. So F4, you move on. Installment is this, which will be constant throughout. F4, you move on. Closing, you have this opening. You say plus this interest minus this installment, you enter. Now from there, what do? You'll be able to come here and highlight the row 2. You highlight the row 2 like that. So remember, you've got 2 rabbits. You have this white rabbit and you have the black ugly rabbit. So come here and push this to this autofill handle. You make the rabbit black. So it's black. 360 is way too far. You can't drag down. So once this rabbit becomes black, you hit it from behind with 2 strokes. You do what we call double click. So you double click like this. This thing is able to go. So come here, control down arrow. So you can see it has amortized itself to 0. So then what is your interest in this question? Come and know, for example, like how much interest have you paid? So how do we get our total interest? So I'll be able to add these 2, total interest and total installment, these 2. I'll add both of them. How do I do it? I will come and say alt equals. When I say alt equals, you can see this. So you can see I took a loan of 10 million. I've paid interest of 21 million. Yeah. So out of 10 million, I've paid 31 million. I borrowed 31 million. The total deposits in paying this loan is 31 million, 3 times. The question is this a worthy investment? And remember, I've worked with 10%. Most of these companies will give you this loan at 10% or 9%. So you borrowed, in this case, ladies and gentlemen. Is it worth it? People will tell you that these mortgages are very, very bad. Yeah, you can see what you have ended up paying 3 times. Let me read your charts. I like reading these charts. Wow. Oh, no. No. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think will be the value of this house that you've bought today, 10 million? Yeah, the property, 30 years to come. It's better to save, not worth it. And remember, you're still living in the same house. Yeah. They have refused. Yeah, the lower installment you pay, the longer it takes, and the more you pay. You're right. It's better to buy a plot and build. Yeah, remember nowadays, even mortgages, they give you money to, even if you are to buy, if you are given that 10 million and you bought that plot and build, you will still pay that 31 million at the end of the day. From the face value, it's very scary. Time value of money, 30 years is really a lot of time. To me, ladies and gentlemen, if you are aggressive, in this case here, mortgages are not bad. So long as, ladies and gentlemen, you make sure that you pay this amount in very, very few years. Assuming you are to pay this, let me just come back and show you something. Let me just come and show you something here. So let's assume in this case here, you wanted to pay this, for example, in 10 years. You get something small from here. I mean, you'll be surprised the interest will not be that high. Will not be that high. So to me, I love these mortgages a lot, and I always make use of them. Even right now, because of the school we are building and buying at 𝐁𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐤, I'm still taking mortgages. I want to risk, yes. I want to risk still, yeah. All right. Simply because of what I've told you. These loans, of course, in this case here will always give you what here, that financial discipline, the financial discipline. They are good. So long as in this case here, you don't take this and then you start joking around. Yeah, you start, there are people who tell you that they are bad, but they are very, very good. Just for example, and I've seen these helping people, like these education insurance policies. You get somebody takes a 10-year education insurance policy, and then they default in between. You've paid for 5 years, you default. What happens? You lose everything, isn't it? So because you've lost, will you say it's bad? No. An education insurance policy, remember there is that insurance element in it. That should you die, your child in this case here will be taken through school. So you see that insurance element of it, ladies and gentlemen, is not quantifiable. Should you become disabled, there will be a few things happening here. All right. So somebody will take you through mathematics and then they tell you that, you know what, this thing is really not giving you any return. Or rather forgetting that there is an insurance element in it. Yeah, if you take a loan, ladies and gentlemen, for sherehe, utapata shida sana. Yeah. So that is very good, Alfred. So ensure that you are talking with what your bank to allow you to be doing these prepayments. To be doing these prepayments. So somebody is asking, what if there is an extra payment in between? If there's extra payment in between, then I'll be able to program my Excel and will be able to capture them. To be able to capture them very, very well with Excel. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we have spoken enough this morning. We have done quite a lot this morning. See you for the low-hanging fruit classes. Is it at 1 p.m.? I think at 1 p.m. we have a low-hanging AFM class. Low-hanging AFM class at 1 p.m. if I'm not wrong. Wairimu wants the formula. Wairimu, are you able to share your screen? Are you able to share your screen? I show you the formula. Are you able to share your screen? Or do you want me to show you the formula using my screen? Great, Kelby. Good day. See you at 1. I think there is a class. I send the Excel. 1 p.m. ni QA. Yetu ni saa ngapi? Kuna ingine ya low hanging ya AFM. Inakuja saa ngapi? Yeah, I will do it, yes. Niweke 12. Oh, it was this one here now. We need to increase the AFM low hanging. Where Rachel, you see a low hanging. You see a low hanging. Low hanging revision pure. I show mine. Where Dennis, itakusaidia nini sasa? Are you working for a bank, Dennis? Mbona nataka hii formula, Dennis? Itakusaidia nini, Wairimo? Itakusaidia wapi? Control home. All right. Hii itakusaidia sana hii saizi. Haitakusaidia sana saizi. All right. So then, I hope you are able to see where your F4 Wairimo is. I hope you are able to see where your F4 is. If you see that F4, then you'll be able to make it. So we say equals opening. We are picking this loan amount. Then you say tab. You go to the next one. Come to the interest. So interest is pegged on the opening. You say times interest per month, which is going to be constant. So because it's constant, you press F4, the one on top, on the line of escape, you press that F4. You press that F4. And some computers, if you press F4, it doesn't work. So it means you must say function, this FN near control. FN, F4. Yeah. And then you come to the installment. So the installment, you pick this one. And of course, this installment also constant throughout. So F4. F4, then you say tab like that. And then we have closing now. So closing, we have this opening plus the interest minus the installment. And you are done, you go to row number 2. So the opening for month 2 will be the closing for this. You go next, equals. You pick this opening, you say times this interest per month. Then you say F4, like that. All right. Then we say tab. Installment. Don't forget when you pick this installment, don't forget to do what here to lock it. F4. Tab. And then you come and say like this, you take opening. The person who told me to be very good with Excel, this is a person I will forever cherish in my entire life. That's Dr. McPhee of Strathmore. Yeah, he's the one who made me to do CPA on top of civil engineering, told me do SCCA, you don't have to be a local champion, and you must be very good in financial modeling. That is a great gentleman. Now he's become a bit old, but a great gentleman, a great gentleman. And all the things that he told us to work on in those old days have really come to pass. For example, he told us to ensure that we are very good in Chinese, very good in these foreign languages. Like I never took advantage of that. Right now, I'm seeing my friends doing very serious financial statements translations from China language to, I mean, they're always in these big discussions. All right. All right. So I never took advantage of that. Even public speaking, it tells you that if you are an accountant and you don't know how to speak publicly, then you are not supposed to, you are in the wrong profession. Because you are doing reporting. At the end of the day, you'll be required in this case to do what here to go and talk before people, give an opinion. So you're supposed to work on your speaking skills every day, ensure you're reading newspapers, you're talking to yourself. All right. Try in this case here, for example, to say that from today, I'll not be speaking in my mother tongue. And as you grow, you'll not be speaking in Kiswahili because Kiswahili now can't take you anywhere. All right. Those are the kind of things he used to tell us in those old days. And for sure, like people who are very good in public speaking today, they're doing very well. Actually, as RCM, we may need in this case here to so seriously consider introducing public speaking classes. Yeah, they are very good. So if we introduce public speaking classes, will you guys join, or do you think public speaking is a useless thing? Enter. Then you come here, you highlight this using the white rabbit. Then you double click here. Yeah, then it amortizes. If you're asking about this PMT, you will come and say PMT. Yeah, you tab, you pick the monthly rate, number of periods, there are 360. Present value, you say minus because the figure here is alone. The figure is alone. The figure is alone. Like that. Thank you. I hope now that is okay. Great. Yeah, okay. FM 𝐁𝐥𝐤𝐤 7 to 8, or specifically for PMT. Now, I believe, Wairimo, you've been able to pick it now. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Be blessed. Be blessed. Ngumbato groups. Ngumbato groups means what? Ngumbato groups means what now? Okay. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. Yeah. Bye. Or chama, yeah. Yeah, you can use this very well. Kwa chama, yes. Yeah. Great. Bye. German. Okay, great. Okay.